Hello, everybody, and welcome to the latest episode of XB2+1, of part of our bonus interview segments. And this is the second developer interview I've ever done on voice, so forgive me, everyone, if I messed all this up. But yeah, we are here today with none other than New Blood Interactive, and I I have to admit, I wasn't hugely familiar with New Blood Interactive before you guys announced that you were joining the Xbox platform and also optimizing for the Xbox Ally. So I just wondered if you were willing to introduce yourself a little bit, Dave,
Yeah,
and
hey,
also
Dave Ostrey here, CEO of New Blood. Yeah, so we like to say we're your favorite game developer's favorite game developers. So either you've never heard of us or our games are your entire personality. But if you've ever heard of Ultra Kill or Faith, the Unholy Trinity, Dusk, A Medieval, Gloomwood, Blood West, Fallen Aces, Tenebrous Somnia upcoming. So we're known for our FPS trilogy, our stealth trilogy, and our horror games. But if you don't really play on Steam or PC, we haven't really done a lot of console stuff up until now. We're finally bringing our games to console, and especially Xbox finally, because it's such a great time for Xbox. Everybody's just so pleased with Xbox, so we're like, you know what? Let's join in on the fun while
uh,
everybody loves Xbox so much. But I mean, it's mostly because we're because of the Ally. We're big proponents of the Ally, and I bought
hmm.
my original white one on day one, and Asus saw that and they were like, "Hey, do you want like 3 ones for your studio?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" So like I've had everyone since the X and stuff, and as PC guys, we're obviously big fans of the PC handhelds. So when Xbox was like, we're going to do a collab with Asus and make like an Xbox One that's got new software and better grips and this, that, we were like, all right, this is a good chance for us to finally put our stuff on Xbox. So here we are.
That's like really awesome. It's quite interesting because I can't I'm under NDA for aspects of this conversation, but
Yeah, so
at Gamescom when I experienced the Xbox Ally hands-on for myself, one thing that I was kind of like thinking about, and also I have the original ROG Ally, I've got Lenovo Legion Go, I've also got a Steam Deck,
yeah,
so I do love that
yeah.
ecosystem.
Oh, it's been
Yeah,
great.
it's
Steam
been
Deck
really
just
cool.
opened the floodgates for all these PC handhelds.
Yeah, it's been awesome, but like one of the things that with Microsoft doing its sort of partnership device specifically with Asus, one of the things I was thinking like, well, if this is going to be a Microsoft Store first kind of experience, one of the things Microsoft doesn't really have is games that are well optimized for these kind of chips. A lot of the
Yeah.
games on the Microsoft Store are super AAA, photorealistic, and they just don't run that
Mhm.
well on the lower end devices. But
Or
new
like mobile type stuff. It's like, yeah, I'm Indiana Jones and Solitaire.
Yeah, yeah. It's like both ends of the spectrum, but there's nothing sort of in the middle. But it really feels like New Blood, and like the games I've been checking out. I've been playing Blood West recently, which is
Uh,
absolutely fantastic, by the way. Um,
I agree.
and I've been, some of the gameplay footage we got here. I believe this is Dusk running on the stream right now. You guys are seeing. It's like, I don't know if the industry likes this term or not, but like the whole boomer shooter kind of genre, I think is
Yeah, I mean, we kind of coined that term. I cannot take credit for it. A lot of people credit me with, coming up with the phrase
Oh,
boomer
really?
shooter. I think it was actually Andrew Hulsholt who came up with the term boomer shooter, and it kind of took off. And a lot of people don't like. A lot of people get it. It's very much like if you know sort of thing. People are like baby boomers didn't play these kind of Doom and stuff like that. Well, first
No.
of all, they did, but it's actually because, yeah, I don't know if you remember the 30-year-old boomer meme. Where
Oh,
they
yeah.
basically were people in our 30s that act like we're baby boomers, and all we want to do is like grill and mow our lawn and shit like that. So
Well, I
that's
think
that's how it
I
became
th
known as boomer shooters. So basically, stuff like if you remember Doom and Quake and Duke Nukem 3D and stuff like that from the 90s, we became popular making games like that. Dusk and Medieval, fast-paced, old school, low poly shooters that all run at like 120 frames per second, that kind of stuff.
yeah, I mean, like that's just like it's so perfect for the Ally and these kind of devices because,
Oh yeah.
as I say, I've put my Legion Go through its paces and I've tried to run high-end games on it, and the experience isn't always fantastic. But
No.
and requires a lot of tweaking. And I think like console
Yeah,
gamers
it's but
especially
I've
just want it to work. But Blood
Yes,
West out of the box was
what
perfect.
I've found is like, people are like, "Oh, the Ally is such a pain in the ass. Windows is such a I have to tweak it so much," and I'm like, What do you mean? It's just Windows." And then I remember that I'm like 40, and like, I've grown up my whole life with Windows, and a lot of these people are younger. They're used to either consoles or iPads or iPhones, and like they just want to start something up, touch a few things, and have their play their game. The concept of like going into files and going into folders and moving files around is like, what? It's like,
Really is.
that's like crazy to them. So I'm like, all right, now I get it, because like, social media is one thing, but if you want to find like real people still, where you want to go is like Facebook groups. So like if you
Hmm.
go into like the Facebook groups for like the ROG Ally and stuff like that, you'll see these people who are just like regular everyday people like, "Hey, I want to buy this thing for my son." Like, what the fuck is it? And you have to explain to them that it's like, he's like, he plays on Xbox. Can he play all his Xbox games on here? And because like, Microsoft has done such a piss poor job of explaining this thing, that it's a PC. I think, and everybody I know who uses PC handhelds like the Ally or the Claw or the Legion Go basically has to educate anybody who asks on like, what these things are.
I,
Especially with the Xbox One, because people still don't know what the fuck it is. And I'm like, no, it's a handheld PC that runs Windows, but now it's going to have better Windows gaming software. So you can just start it up and play games. They're like, cool. So all the games I have on Xbox, I can play on this. And I'm like, well, no, because it's a PC. So you either have to have these games on Steam or on the Windows Store, or now with Xbox Play Anywhere, like, yes, some games like our games, which we're doing for Xbox Play Anywhere, yes, if you own them on one Xbox thing, you'll have them on everything. So like if you buy Blood West on Xbox, like say you boot up your Series X and you go to the store, right? And you buy Blood West, you can then, yes, you can, if you have, you can play it on your laptop, you can play it on your Series S, or your Allied, and just install it there. You don't have to buy it again. You don't have to change your saves or anything. Like, yes, but only for games that are Xbox Play Anywhere.
yeah.
So like that's the amount of education I have to do every time I talk to anybody about these handhelds. So it's uh, like I love what Xbox is going for, but like they really have to stick with it and get past this phase of messaging and educating people on exactly what the hell these things are.
No, I completely agree. I literally have an article up on Windows Central, which is like PSA. I really need people to understand that Xbox Ally is a PC. Like, I literally have that article because
It's
I was
a lot of
also,
people are
yeah,
going to be. I think a lot of people are going to be like, "Where's my games? Where's my Xbox? I thought this was an Xbox. Where's my Xbox games? Like
yeah,
I own Gears. Where's Gears?"
yeah.
And I think
It's
I don't
true.
know if I don't know if and they're doing a decent job. Like it's all getting better. Like Windows, it's so funny how like Windows is installed on every fucking PC in the world, and yet Microsoft they lost 90% of the share of their gaming market to Valve over the last 10 years. Like more than that, I'd say probably 95%, right? Like imagine having the software that runs on every PC and nobody plays games on it. Nobody buys games on it. Like what an absolute mega, like the fumble of all fumbles.
It
Like
really
it's
is.
insane. Like it's like you let someone come into your house and like run a kitchen next to your kitchen, and like everybody buys food there instead of in your kitchen. Like it's actually crazy. But I mean, Microsoft hasn't cared about gaming since the 2000s on Windows. Like I remember, because I'm an old man, Windows gaming in like the 2000s was lit. Like the old, like there was that era. I don't know if people remember like that era of Windows gaming where it was like the old school flight simulator days and stuff like that. But then the shift to console happened, in the 360 era, and they basically abandoned any Windows gaming store, Windows gaming. I don't know if anybody remembers games for Windows Live. That was
Oh yeah.
abysmal. Oh my god, it was some of the
Oh
worst.
yeah.
This like super lockdown VRM. Like you couldn't even play game. You still some days or some games still today are still like unplayable because of games for Windows Live. Um, and like Valve just came in and was like, we're going to build a better store, a better ecosystem. And 10, 15 years later, they're the biggest game store on the planet.
It's true. It's completely true. I mean,
And
it's
and now
like,
and now Microsoft's finally like, maybe we should like try to build a good store for people to buy games on computers. Yeah. So Better
It's,
late than never, I guess.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty late in the game, you know, and when using these devices, which are sort of Microsoft Store first, because you know on the Ally, Steam isn't pre-installed, and it's also got that full screen Xbox experience, so it kind of services the Microsoft Store at your front and center, and then you sort
Hmm.
of navigate around it. And like one thing I noticed that you know when I was using the Xbox Ally base model at Gamescom, it was recommended AAA games, wasn't recommending me the kind of games that would actually run on these devices. Whereas on the Steam Deck,
Exactly.
you've got the whole Steam Deck verification
Steam Deck
program,
verified.
and it
Yeah.
it throws games at you, like hundreds of games, which are
Yeah.
optimal for this device. So I'm kind of like I'm curious, why did New Blood decide, you know what, we want to give this a go? You know, because in a way, you guys are at the forefront of this sort of content gap on the Microsoft Store, where
I mean, that was the hope.
tons of publishers just ignore the Microsoft Store, big and small.
Yeah, well, that was the hope. Like, all right, because like we don't do things for like we'd missed every gold rush there is, right? Like when the Switch first came out, indie games on there would like make tons of money. When VR first came out, et cetera, et cetera. Like we missed all that. You know, we take our time with our games. Like we put out Dusk on Switch like 2, 3 years after it it came out on PC, and now these Dusk came out in 2018. Um, but I think that's exactly it. Like we do things because we look waiting for like a cool opportunity. So given how much we like the handhelds and we saw Xbox announce this, we're like, this is actually a really good opportunity to like mess with this ecosystem. Let's put all our games on. We could finally put all our games on Xbox because people have been asking, our players were like, when do you finally bring new games to Xbox? Because they're on Switch, some are on PlayStation, but like we haven't put anything on Xbox up until now. So we're like, let's make a big thing of it. Let's with the handheld. Let's talk to our guys at Asus and finally get our, Xbox stuff up and running and see if we can make them play anywhere and see if we can contribute to making this less shit and making it a good experience. So, that was just, that was finally our, what I thought was a good moment. Like, let's do it. Let's finally put our games on Xbox and, here we are.
What's the first batch of games coming to Xbox from you guys?
So Blood West is coming, I think, next week on the 16th. Dusk, and then Dusk and Fang. And then we're working on a Medieval, and then, Fallen Aces, Gloomwood, Ultra Kill, obviously, are still in early access, so we're not going to put those on console until they're finished. And then Tenebrous Somnia. So the first wave is Dusk, Medieval, and, Dusk, Faith, and Blood West.
That's awesome. So,
Yeah.
like, Dusk's the game we're seeing now, which it looks like a sort of fast-paced kind of shooter. But I was playing Blood West, which has a almost
Blood West,
stalker vibe
yeah.
to it.
Yeah, Blood West is part of our stealth trilogy. So Blood West is the stealth Wild West shooter. So it's much different. Obviously you cannot play it like this. I mean, if you build your character right, by the end of like the middle of the game, you can move around pretty good, but obviously it won't be as fast as Dusk. I don't know if you can get Blood West up on the screen here or whatever.
It'll come up in a bit.
Yeah, but yeah, it's completely different. So we want to, something for everyone. So like with the first wave, like obviously you got Dusk, like, and anybody who plays old school shooters knows Dusk, right? It was Metacritic PC Game of the Year 2018. Super popular, and it kind of kicked off the whole boomer shooter scene back in late 2018. And then Faith, which is like the indie horror game, the iconic one. People know Mortis, with the rotoscope cutscenes, and you can go watch a 4-hour YouTube documentary on that one if you don't want to play the game. And then Blood West, which is completely different. It's a stealth game. So like that first wave kind of something for everyone to show like all the different sides of New Blood games.
That's awesome.
But but also like we weren't like a lot of people, especially PC devs or like shooter devs, like their console ports, they just kind of like they have some third party, they outsource them and they come and they're like 30 frames a second and they're not optimized and controls aren't great. And it's just like, yeah, like sure, you ported the game, but like, is it a good experience? So we do all our ports and everything ourselves. So like we want to make sure everything runs at 120 frames per second. Everything's, got, the controls feel good, the dead zones feel good, the auto aim feels good, especially because shooters on console, like I suck at shooters on console, right? Because I'm a PC guy, but like, we have a lot of people who do play shooters on console, and we have everybody, we're like, does this feel good? Is this a good experience on Xbox? So like we want it to feel as good on Xbox as it does on your PC, essentially, or on your handheld. Because like when I booted up on the the Ally X or whatever it is I've got now, I'm like, cool, I can lock this at 60. It feels smooth, it feels good, and I can save my game here and then go play it on PC or play it on my laptop or
As
play it on my fucking TV. I don't even know there's an Xbox app on my Samsung now. Like everything's an Xbox.
that, yeah, I one day I turned my TV on. It was like, oh, you can play Xbox on this now. I was like, oh, that's
It's
interesting.
and that's another. They're just like they haven't done a great job of like advertising that. I'm like, what
No.
do you mean my Samsung TV is an Xbox and it streams and it's not bad? Like I streamed it. Like it depends on your internet, right? Streaming gaming, well, that's why online and shit never took off because people's internet speeds. But like it's not bad
No,
these days. It's like wow, this is very playable, and I don't even need hardware.
are the new Blood games coming to cloud as well?
Some. I mean, maybe. I mean, they're play anywhere. Does that include cloud? I don't
I,
know.
I don't I don't know if it does either. I think
I'll have to
maybe you have
check.
to flip a switch in the dev center or
Yeah,
something. I don't
I
know,
don't
but
know. I think so. Like, if that's on, I think like that's on because Xbox hosts that, right? Obviously,
yeah.
not us. So, like, I think so. I think we checked that box.
All right, cool.
Like,
That's
we're
awesome.
focused on the play anywhere stuff.
I feel it.
I love
I
it.
mean,
I love this Dusk footage. It's great. I fucking good. And there's also Dusk HD. We did it. I don't know if you know. We did an HD remaster of Dusk a few years ago, and that's we're gonna be putting that up on consoles when we come out with a new version of Dusk. We're working on. We're like rebuilding it in a new version of Unity with an SDK and stuff like that. So it's like better on modern hardware.
that's awesome.
And the HD remaster will be, free DLC and stuff like that. For those of you who think these, graphics are too retro.
I mean, New Blood, Blood West's coming up now, I think, on the screen now.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I will say this, like, when I was trying Blood West, I was really impressed about how well it does feel with the controller, because I am someone who plays, I'm a console peasant, generally speaking. I play, there are some PC exclusives I play, like I'm a huge Warcraft guy, but
Mhm.
I don't play shooters on PC generally these days. I used to. I played Unreal Tournament back in the day religiously, but I kind
Mhm.
of my PC exploded at some point, and I ended up getting a 360. But I was surprised how well it does handle with the dead zones and joysticks and things like that. Because even some big devs don't get that right. Like I
Yeah.
remember fiddling around with Cyberpunk 2077 a lot to get the joysticks how I wanted to feel, and also Stalker 2 on console as well. So it's I think it's a testament to you guys that you managed to nail that so well. Um,
Yeah.
so you know, I I just want to know, like, one of the big, we've kind of alluded to this a couple of times, but Xbox is sort of Xbox is hit a sort of a weird messaging time in its life, shall we say? And
Yeah.
they haven't really messaged well with regards to Play Anywhere, Cloud, Xbox Ally, and all these kind of things. As an indie developer, and as an Xbox customer myself, and like I often hear from people in the Xbox community, there is often this sort of um a sort of collective fear in the Xbox community that indie developers, especially like indie developers that often prioritize Steam or Nintendo Switch and things like that, will leave Xbox till last, if at all. Are there sort of
Yeah.
like, I know you can't, I know there are like NDAs and things like that, but are there anything you can speak to, any feedback you give to Microsoft about how they can improve the onboarding process for new developers and quote unquote smaller developers and indie developers onto
I
Microsoft
mean,
Store and things like that?
it's been a huge pain in the ass. I mean, a big reason we didn't do it until now, just because getting set up on Microsoft was just such a pain in the ass. Like the ID at Xbox people have been great, like with going back and forth with emails and everything like that. Um, but it just signing up and getting all the paperwork done is just like there were points where things would just get stuck for like no reason, and then we wouldn't hear back, and we were just like, well, fuck it, we've got better things to do that time. It's gotten better, I think, but also there've been like a lot of layoffs. So you'll be working with someone who's really cool and helps you push stuff along, and then their email bounces back one day. It's like, oh, they're not there anymore. Uh, so it's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff like that has just been like it's a pain, but like now it's once you get rolling, it gets, but the actual dev is like not hard. Getting your XDKs and setting up and doing the ports and things like the development work is the easy part. It's the bureaucracy, it's the paperwork, it's the back end, it's the Microsoft, back end web pages that take 30 seconds to load every time you try to update your tax information and shit like that. It's just like, call on, you know?
Yeah.
Um, there's just so much, red tape, and it's just compared to like Steam, where it's just like you can do anything instantly. You can manage your own store pages, your own discounts, see anything. Like we can't even like we want to do launch discounts, which is like people are used to launch discounts now, especially people who buy on Steam or stuff like that. They're like, oh, a new game's out, I'm expecting it for 10% off with that little green tag, right? Oh yeah, games launch, they come out with a little discount. Thank you for buying day one. You can't do that on Xbox unless you like email someone and have them approve it. It takes like 3 weeks to get a discount approved. It's like, bruh.
Mm.
I can even on Nintendo, on Switch, we can schedule our own discounts and name them whatever we want. On Steam, they have a whole dashboard for discounts. But on, PlayStation and Xbox, it's still very like you have to ask someone and wait to hear back and submit a ticket. And it's that kind of stuff that makes it a pain in the ass for indie devs.
Is that
Because we're used to working very quickly and a lot of iteration and a lot of just like thinking on the fly and pivoting. Whereas
yeah.
AAA, they schedule shit months in advance or years in advance. Like we don't do that. We're always working on a million things. So their systems are not intuitive for devs. And you've heard a lot of stories like this, right? Where
Oh
indies are
yeah.
just like, I got fed up trying to launch on Xbox. Like it's been fine so far, but like it's very much, but we're independently popular of whatever console we're on, right? So like New Blood, and our games are popular, whether you've heard of us or not, because you only play on Xbox. But like we're more than capable of doing our own marketing. Like you saw, our stuff is coming to Xbox based on us putting out
Yeah.
our socials and stuff like that. We
I
got
did. Yeah.
millions of followers all over on all the networks. So like we'll do fine bringing it to Xbox, but imagine you're like typical indie who is hoping to maybe get featured or support from Xbox, who's not on Game Pass, just trying to launch a premium game, Xbox Play Anywhere, wants to be a part of this ecosystem, wants that like, hey, like we want to be on, we want this looks cool. Anything is an Xbox. We've got games that will run great on everything that people would really like. And like, how do you surface that? How do you surface that without support from Microsoft or tools on the back end that lets you do that? Like Steam, whether or not somebody at Valve, like we've got our own reps at Valve because we've been working with them for 15 years, but like there's so many tools for brand new indie devs to get their games seen on Steam without
Mm.
having to ever talk to anybody at Valve. Whether it's demos or next fests or wish lists or, daily deals or just the way you can, use your Steam pages to advertise or participate in different things. Like you can like where the fuck did Megaball come from? Like
Yeah.
like every other week, some indie game blows up on Steam, sells millions of copies, and there's a good chance they never talked to Valve. They didn't get, they didn't ask to be featured. The algorithm did that because it's one of the good uses of AI is algorithmically like Valve Steam shows me games I've never heard of that I want to play all the time. It's like actually really good at that. My
It really
Xbox
is. Yeah.
dashboard does not do that. All it does is show me Tony Hawk and Indiana Jones and whatever else Microsoft wants me to buy.
Yeah.
It doesn't show me what it thinks I want to play. It's just like here's the latest stuff from our third party acquisitions. Here, don't you want to play Candy Crush? We bought King. Please play Candy Crush. It's like no, I don't want to play. I would like to as someone who plays retro shooters, like I would want to see the Heretic and Hexen remasters from Night Dive. Like you should be showing me that on my Xbox dashboard. You should be showing me like New Blood games, stuff like Blood West and Dusk and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The reason why all these other stores like the Epic Games Store have failed is because they didn't build a better store. They they're like, here's a bunch of free games and developers get a really good cut, but the store still sucks. Like
Yeah.
it's like I'd rather like you can't compete with Valve and Steam unless you try to build something that works as good, if
Yeah.
not better, than Valve and Steam. And so far, nobody's done that. The good news is now that Xbox and Microsoft seem to kind of be giving a shit, which is why we're jumping in. We're like, all right, if they're going to have this new UI, UX and new software and start to take Windows gaming seriously and have Xbox Play Anywhere and stuff like that, we're going to do it too. So like, and we're hoping that people will be playing games. It's an experiment, right? Like we're
Yeah.
hoping it's a good, we're hoping it's a good time to get on Xbox. However, Xbox keeps shooting themselves in the foot every week.
Oh yeah, they
And
do.
we're like, and we're over here like, hey, we're launching our games on Xbox finally. And people are like, boo, we hate
Yeah.
Xbox. Xbox is dying. It's like, sick, cool, love that. Yeah,
It's so exhausting.
it
On the,
is.
as a
I
customer.
imagine for you, it's
Yeah,
pretty exhausting.
it's crazy because like you know, like when all that blew up with the Game Pass stuff last week, Microsoft had two of its own preview events going on with Fallout 76 and World of Warcraft Midnight, and the news cycle was
Really,
just, yeah, it was just dominant. Like all our content for that was just snowballed and avalanche on,
I didn't even know there was a new World of Warcraft
yeah.
coming out.
There was a, yeah, there's like a preview event for the next expansion, and then Fallout 76 having a new big map update, and also they got Call
Oh,
of Duty
that
going
I
on,
saw
and
with Walton Goggins. They got to do.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
so I have 500 hours in 76. I haven't played it in years.
yeah.
But
It's a
I was
fun
a
game.
big 76 player. It's so good now. I have to, it's another one of those things where people are like, oh, 76. I'm like, guys, it's been good since like 2020,
Oh yeah,
seriously. But like every time I see one of these new expansions, I'm like, I won't go back. I can't go back. Because
yeah.
it's like, if you ever play MMOs, it's like it just takes your whole life. You don't
Oh
play
yeah,
any
dude.
other games. Same with World of Warcraft. I was a hardcore WoW player back in like 2008 in like the heyday. Like, Wrath Village King and Burning Crusade and stuff like, back in the
Oh yeah,
day when
back in
everybody
the
was
day.
playing WoW. I'm like, I cannot go back. But every once in a while I'll see those trailers and I'm like,
Yeah,
but no, I'm an old man. I'm married now. I got a kid on the way. I don't got time to be playing MMOs.
dude, it's crazy. Like I remember being a kid playing World of Warcraft when I was like a kid. I was like 18, and I used to see
Yeah.
people in my guild who were like in their 30s and they were married, and I was thinking,
Hmm.
why are those guys playing
How?
WoW? And now I'm that
Yeah.
age. Crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, it's like the whole content cycle completely buried those stories for us. And like if you're an
Yeah.
if you're an indie developer trying to like get into that, sphere, that Xbox sphere, how does like the perception of Xbox affect you guys and also like any other indie devs that are planning to join into the ecosystem?
Well, because like the perception right now is that Xbox is dead, which sucks because like it's actually the ecosystem is at like Xbox Play anyway. Like it's great. Like it's actually like so
Mm.
we're Bloodwest is coming out next week. The game you can see on the screen right now. Stealth horror shooter. Bloodwest rules. Love Bloodwest. Shout out Hyper Strange, our devs, our buddies who made that. And it's like so I wanted to test the ecosystem, right? Because like we did all this, the port's done, it's ready to go. So I really we generated keys. I gotta send you one by the way. I
Thank
redeemed
you
it
very
on
much.
my PC, played it a little, started a whole new game, because I have all my Bloodlist, saves on Steam and stuff from hundreds of hours. So I started fresh on the Windows Store. I redeemed it there. It's like, hey, we can also install on your Xbox. I was like, that's neat, cool. So I played a little bit on my PC, saved, quit, went into the living room, booted up the Series S. Blood West was installed there. I was like, all right, cool. It was right on the dashboard, looked really nice next to Tony Hawk and whatever else I've been playing. Lost Odyssey, shout out. Maybe one day we'll get a sequel. Um, and I booted it up. My save was right there. The settings were the same. I played it a little bit on the Series S. Looked good, felt good. It was at 120 frames per second. I was like, nice, very good. Thank you. I guess I installed the right I installed the right HDMI cable on my TV for that. And then I saved. I quit the game. I got out my Ally X. I installed it on there. Booted, played. My save was right there. I sat on my porch. I played that a little bit. I was like, this is nice. This is good. This is great ecosystem. I wish more people knew that Xbox. This is what they want, right? This is like the dream of like everything is an Xbox, right? You buy a game. I love the idea of buy it, own it, play it anywhere, right? It sounds so simple. Like I mean, honestly, that's a better marketing slogan than anything Xbox has come up with, right? If they just came up with, if they would literally just went out there and said, buy it, own it, play it anywhere, people would be like, hey, I understand that. Instead, they're like, everything is an Xbox. Game Pass is $30 a month now. And it's just the marketing and the messaging has just been so confusing. But like, so it's like, fuck it, we'll do our own marketing and messaging. We'll explain to people what this is. At least if nothing else, this ecosystem will have new blood games on it. And it's like, listen, if people buy them, awesome. If people don't buy them there, it doesn't affect us at all. You know, we spend time doing it. Like it's the same thing. Like we spent a lot of time doing a medieval VR, right, for the MetaQuest and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Because we wanted to, everything we do, we want to make sure we go all the way. That's what New Blood's about. That's why our games are all, you know, super high rated, overwhelmingly positive, blah, 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 high Metacritic, all that bullshit. Because we care, we give a shit. Like our games take a long time and our ports take a long time. Not that good, you know. So like with a medieval VR, you know, we spent a lot of time making sure it was the best thing. And like, you know, VR is fucking dead. It sold like not a lot of copies. It didn't sell a lot of copies on Steam. It didn't sell a lot of copies on the Quest store, but like whatever, like we did it, right? It was a fun experiment. We're proud of it, right? So even if our games on Xbox, you know, don't sell a ton and don't do super well, we can at least say, hey, we did a good job. We're proud of them. At least people who are fans of our games know that they can get them on Xbox and have a good experience, the same as they would on any other platform. So like we're just gonna we're not gonna count on Microsoft and Xbox to do a good job of surfacing the games or doing a good job of marketing and messaging this new ecosystem or the handheld. But like, you know, we're out here contributing. So hopefully, you know, Microsoft is like, oh, cool. Here's some cool games that are actually run well on our hardware and use the new. Just like Final Fantasy Tactics just came out, right? The remaster, one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And I was like, oh, where should I buy it? I was thinking about my life. I was like, oh, maybe it's Xbox Play Anywhere, and I can play it on, you know, all the things. I was like, I could get it on Steam, and then I could play it on PC and then also on handheld, right? But I don't have any. I don't. Then I could play it on my TV, but I'd have to dock my Ally, and like my Ally docks in a fucking drawer somewhere. I was like, ugh. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's Xbox Play Anywhere, and I looked it up. I Googled because that's what you have to do because Microsoft doesn't do a good job of telling you what games are Xbox Play Anywhere. I was like, is Final Fantasy Tactics Ivalice Chronicles Xbox Play Anywhere? No. I was like, well, I'm not getting it on Xbox. I got it on Switch too. I ended up getting it on Switch because I was like, I'm gonna play it in the bedroom. I'm gonna play it on handheld. Switch it is. You know, the only thing I can't do, but that is obviously play on PC. But like, I'm not playing Final Fantasy Tactics on PC anyway, right? So I've been playing it on Switch too. I just got off a flight. I was playing it on the plane. I came home, put it on the Switch, playing it in the bedroom in bed. That's how I'm playing Final Fantasy Tactics. But that could have been Xbox.
Yeah.
Like if Square had committed, because I think Square said they're doing Xbox Play Anywhere for a bunch of their stuff.
Yeah, they are. Like Dragon Quest is Play Anywhere, and the
Yeah,
other stuff
but
is.
I guess Final Fantasy Tactics just didn't make the cut or whatever. Like I don't know why Square does what they do. I mean, whatever. But like that's another thing. It's like as someone who owns like all the things, like I was like, should I get it on PlayStation? I was like, no, my PS5 is home, and it, you know, that my PS5 is still what I use for like big AAA games, right? It's like it's hooked up to the big TV and the couch and surround sound. Like that's what I use for like, I don't know, like, you know, GTA 6. Like I'm getting that on PS5, right? Like the big stuff. But like there's no ecosystem for that. Like I've got the Portal, but like I don't use that fucking thing. It's I literally I found it like in a drawer and I was like, oh, I forgot I had that. So like, you know, PS5 definitely, you know, PlayStation doesn't have that ecosystem, but they've still got, you know, the big ticket AAA exclusive, so they're doing fine with that. So as someone who owns everything, like I'm into the idea of Xbox Play Anywhere, but the problem is you have to like pick and choose which games to get. Yeah, you have to do. I had to Google is Final so like that's the problem. But like, hopefully, I mean, listen, they've just started this initiative, right? So like, we're trying to be on the cusp of like, hey, this is, and I don't think it took us any more effort. I think we had to check some boxes and make sure our builds like work and like on everything. And like, it's like being Xbox Play Anywhere was like not a pain in the ass to do. I mean, the idea of it's great. I think it's just going to take time for it to catch on.
Yeah.
And the issue is, are people going to be patient enough? And is Microsoft and Xbox going to give it enough time? Like, I like the idea. I love the everything is an Xbox. When they came out with the everything is an Xbox or this is an Xbox, I was like, I actually, you know, people were talking shit, but I was like, I see what they're trying to go for here. I think the problem is like they have to stick with it. they can't like give up on the whole this is an Xbox thing a year from now and be like, just kidding. We're going back to making dedicated hardware and dropping the whole this is an Xbox. Sorry, not enough games signed up for Play Anywhere. Like
Yeah,
they have to stick with this or else they're just gonna keep losing.
yeah. I mean, it's consistency is key, and with Microsoft being this huge corporate entity, it's like the sort
Mhm.
of quarterly driven profits mindset, isn't it? Um,
Mhm.
yeah, and I think that's why a lot of users are finding resonance in companies like your own, where you just focus
Mhm.
entirely on your mission, entirely on your audience and your customers, and there's no sort of shareholders. Because you said earlier that you guys don't have like shareholders and stuff, right?
No,
In
we're
the
completely independent. We don't have, we don't have any publishers or investors, right? And we've been, it was just me and my buddies and started in my apartment 15 years
yeah.
ago. And, now here we are.
I think the kind of games that are coming out from studios like your own have just they've got that kind of I can't even put it into words. I'm a professional writer and I can't even put it into words, but it's almost like you want to say it's almost like it's got a soul, you know. It's
Yes.
like it's not a game designed by checklist. It's not a game that's sort of clearly gone through some kind of soulless assembly process. And I'm
Yeah,
not saying all
not
AAA
made
games are
by
like that.
and no, it's not designed by committee. There's no focus
Yeah.
group testing. We like we always said we make the kind of games that we want to play, right? And when we first started with the boomer shooters and stuff like that, nobody was making games like that. People weren't making games like Doom and Quake and shit anymore. Now there's
Yeah.
tons. Like now there's so many retro shooters. So like the market is just full. I mean, the boomer shooter has its own tag on Steam. We're very proud of. And there's so many, but a lot of them haven't come to console yet because it's hard to translate these super fast paced shooters um
Yeah.
to console. So yeah, I mean and again, like there would be so many more indies on console if it wasn't, a lot of indies don't know where to start. Like who do I talk to? How do I get dev kits? Porting's a pain in the ass. All the middleware with Unity and stuff like that, or Unreal. It's a lot. I mean, we're an experienced studio. We're 40 people now, so like we know what we're doing, but it took us years to get to this point. So like your average indie, doesn't they don't know what they're doing. They'll get in touch with like a third party porting house that does that, and they'll shit out a subpar port on Xbox, and it's like, sure, it's available, but do
Yeah.
you want to play it on there?
Yeah.
So like it really, especially like for the Xbox studios, it's a no brainer, right? They're gonna do that for their big budget stuff, all their Bethesda games and stuff like that. Like that's their play. But as far as indies go, they need to be doing the outreach. They need to be helping indies get on. And the IB and Xbox team does a great job. Like it's like if you sign up and start talking to people, they will help you. But it's just like that's it. There's just so much to it. And at the end of the day, is it worth it, right? Like you can get like are you going to sell any copies on
Mm.
Xbox? I don't know. Like, and the problem, and then we can get back to Game Pass. Like for the last 5-10 years or whatever it is. Like if your game wasn't on Game Pass, is anybody playing your game on Xbox?
Yeah.
Like they were giving out deals left and right. I know indies who were getting like 750, $1.5 million to put their game on Game Pass. I was like, shit. I mean,
Maybe you
that's a
guys
lot of
should take
money.
the pack. Would
Yeah,
you do
we're over
something
here.
like that?
We're over. Huh?
Would you do
I
something
mean,
like that?
yeah, I mean, we talked to the Game Pass team because I wanted to do like the trilogy. I wanted to have Dusk and Medieval and then Ultra Kill, obviously, the big carrot at the end of the stick available on Game Pass, make it like it's the kind of thing that would be a big announcement, right? Obviously,
Yeah.
these are all games that sold, Dusk has done like 1 million+ copies, Ultra Kill has done 2-3 million copies in early access, and Medieval's done, hundreds of thousands of copies. I think somewhere close to like 700,000. Like these are, games that are like finally coming to Xbox. I think it would be really cool. Like, hey, the New Blood FPS trilogy available on Game Pass. It'd be a cool reason for people who like our kind of games to sign up. And they're like, I was like, all right, well, we're just gonna make them premium games then. Especially
Uh,
with the way people feel about Game Pass now, where it's like, yeah, you pay a subscription, but you don't own the games. And that
mm,
just kind of flies in the face of like everything we're about. We're big on preservation. We're big on physicals. We're big on, you buy something, you own it. All our games are DRM free. Like you can put our shit on a thumb drive and, upload it. I don't give a shit. Like, so
that's
like
awesome.
being on a subscription service, like it's hard because as a consumer, it's a fucking awesome deal, right? But as a developer, it's like, is that what you want? I don't want, is my game is like some Netflix movie that's only available for 3, 4 months, and then you can't play it anymore.
Yeah.
It's especially for us, it's like a weird proposition, but like it sucks because like you want people to see your games, you want people to play your games, and it's like unless you're on Game Pass, nobody's going to see your indie game. But
Yeah.
like that, so that's why we haven't done anything for so long with Xbox. It's like, what's the point? There wasn't a cool reason to be on Xbox. Now with the Xbox Play Anywhere and the handheld, we're like, fuck it, this is a
Mm.
good enough reason to put our stuff on Xbox. Like, would we still do a Game Pass deal? Like, I mean, they've obviously they're interested in Ultra Kill, but like, because then, like, because we want parity, right? Like, I would want to put something on Game Pass and not also be on PlayStation Plus.
Oh
I
yeah.
want like we're super pro consumer, so I don't want to be like, hey, our game's basically free on Xbox, but you have to pay for it, you know,
Yeah.
on
I get
PlayStation
that.
and PC. So it's like, as a company and a CEO type dude who's like very like vehemently pro consumer. I'm not anti Game Pass, but like it's a weird, funny space. And like it's not about the money. Like obviously if they're like, hey, we'll give you $10 million to put Ultra Kill on Game Pass day one, I'd be like, sorry guys, I'm taking the bag. Like at some point you gotta just look out for your studio and be like, I'm taking the bag and we're buying a jet.
That
You know,
that'd fund so
um,
many games too, like in
yeah. I mean,
theory.
listen, I think everybody would understand that.
Yeah.
But like it's not like what we're looking to do, and I think people know that it's because of the new blood. We're not trying. It's just like but we like I like this ecosystem. I wish I've been saying for years, and a lot of other people have been saying too, that games are going the same place that music went 5, 10 years ago. Like we're going to the Spotify model where like everything will be on a subscription. Nobody pays for anything anymore. You just either you have your subscription to Spotify, the Spotify of games, which is Game Pass or whatever, or PS Plus, and that's where you play your games. You don't actually play for them. And the only way game developers make money is by hours at the amount of hours people play their games, kind of like
Mm.
streaming, or you have to tour and sell merch to survive, just like your favorite band. We're going the exact same way. I mean, if the corporations have anything to say about it,
Yeah.
but now with Game Pass costs like Game Pass is 306. Game Pass was the greatest fucking deal in the world for like the longest time, and it's still a really good deal. But like they've increased the price for Ultimate, but adding stuff that I don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
And it's like, as someone who doesn't play like Call of Duty or Ubisoft games, like I'll play Black Ops 7 a little bit, let's be real, but like I'll just buy it. Like it's
Yeah.
like the value, it was like for the longest time, Game Pass was one of those things where you keep subscribed to it and you don't worry about it, right? Like Netflix. Everybody has a fucking Netflix subscription and
Yeah.
you don't worry about it. It's just one of those things you keep, even if you're not watching a ton of stuff on Netflix. It's like you're not going to cancel Netflix because you never know when a new show's going to come out or a new season or something good's going to be on Netflix, or you just want to sit and scroll Netflix and find something good to watch, right? You don't think about canceling it. The Game
Mm.
Pass was the same way. I was like, for $20 a month, I know that I can boot up my Xbox and like scroll and find something good to play or find. But one of the best things about Game Pass is all the 360 back compat games, which again
Yeah.
they don't do a good job of marketing and messaging. Like as someone who plays that kind of stuff, like the fact that I can they all the old Bethesda games are on there, all the old id games are on there, stuff like Lost Odyssey. I think actually you have to pay for Lost Odyssey, but it's usually like $4. But like all the 360 era shit is on there. They actually do a really good job with the back compat, way better than
Yeah.
I think anybody else. There's so much Xbox and Xbox 360 stuff on Game Pass and just on the store. And it's like, for $20 a month, there's always something I could find. But when it's $30 a month, you're like, I gotta think about it. And then like they've made the tiers nice and confusing, as people like to do. Like they released like this, the like here's what you get on every tier, and I immediately was like, I ain't reading all that. I was like, I am like, how much fine print do you want me to read? And I think that's a lot of people. Like
No, you're
you're
right.
like, all they saw was like, Ultimate is $30 a month now.
No, you're right.
That's all we saw. But it's just like it's like I ain't reading all that. Happy for you though. I'm sorry that happened. It's just like all I know is my $20 a month subscription is now $30 a month. That's what you're telling me, and that was enough for a lot of people to be like, nope. Because like I looked at what I played on Game Pass last year. Like I got Indiana Jones. My game of the year 2024. Love Indiana Jones. Please, if you're listening to this, play Indiana Jones. Oh my god, game of the year 2024. I wish it came out a little sooner so it could have swept the awards. Um, I got that on Blue Game Pass. I played Adam Fall on Game Pass. My current, I think you're in the UK, so you must be an Adam Fall
Oh, I
fan or
love Adam Fall.
Rebellion.
I love
Oh,
Adam
so
Fall, man.
my 2025 so far, my favorite game I've played this year. Even though it's like a double A game, but it's like, oh man, it's got the Stalker vibes, it's got the New Vegas vibes. It looks good. Like Adam Fall was, it was one of those games where I came out of nowhere. I started watching all the trailers, and I know Rebellion from their sniper games, and I was like, this is such a great use of their technology. And I played. I'm like, this is it. It was everything I hoped it could be and more. And I was like, and so I played. I wish I paid for it. I was like, damn, I wish I gave Rebellion money. But I played that on game. Oh, here, I'll look right now. I'll open up my beautiful Xbox app on my PC, which has a new storefront now. And the new Xbox experience has all my games, especially it has all my Steam games and everything I've played recently. The new Xbox app. It's very ugly. It has all these ugly little tabs because it's just the desktop icons. You know which one looks good? Blood West, because it's Xbox Play Anywhere. It has a full icon. I'll send you a
HD
picture of this
icon.
right now.
No, I
Yeah,
can
it's
see.
like
I can
so.
see
This
it too.
is
Like I've got Resident Evil 1 installed from GOG, and it's got this
yeah.
pixelated little
Yeah,
icon there.
it just pulls the desktop icon.
Yeah.
But if you look there at all my stuff, do not look at where it says Blood West 2. I swear you don't see that. But if you
Leak.
look, it says Blood, and like the Blood West one's got the nice big thing because that's a proper Xbox Play Anywhere game. But
Yeah.
like everything else is just like a desktop icon. So like it's getting there. It's better. It's nice to load up the Xbox app and see like everything you've played, even on Steam and GOG. It's like, cool, they're actually trying. And the
Yeah.
store's there and the news the Game Pass thing. But here, I'll show you what I've played. What did I get on Game Pass? Indiana Jones, Tony Hawk, Adam Fall, Stalker 2. No, I got Stalker 2 on Steam. I guess I downloaded it on Xbox as well. Because it was, oh yeah, so I bought it on Steam and then I wanted to see how it ran on Series S. Like I was like, there's no way. So I downloaded it on Series S and I was like, well, I'll be damned. It kind of runs. And Avowed, I paid for Avowed because I got friends at Obsidian and stuff. So like the games I really played over the last year on Game Pass was Indiana Jones and Adam Fall and Tony Hawk. And like, is that worth $360 a year plus like the stuff that I scroll when I played a game called like a knockoff digging a hole game. I got that on Xbox, like shovelware, just like shit like that. Like, is that worth $360? I could just buy Indiana Jones. Adam Fall was a double A game. I think it was like $50.
Yeah.
So like I'm not using Game Pass enough for it to make sense. And I think a lot of people were like, I don't play enough big budget stuff on game. Like it makes sense if you play, I think they're really banking on the Black Ops 7. Like they're doing these price increases and being like, hey, all you people who play COD, which is still, it's a behemoth on Xbox, right? It was Call of Duty's been carrying Xbox for how many years now? They're like, hey, if you still want to play Black Ops 7 and multiplayer and all that stuff on Game Pass, you got to have, Ultimate. I think that's probably a big part of it. I mean, listen, I'm not, I don't work there, but I would think so. But like, I don't. So I don't need it. So like looking at the stuff I've played, I was like, why would I have Ultimate? Whereas before it was like, I'll let it run. But now it's like, I'm not just going to let it run anymore. I mean, I probably will, but like I'm thinking about it. I'm not thinking about canceling. But also it's so easy to get Ultimate. Like everything comes with free Ultimate. Like I have so many codes, like everything I buy is like, hey, you get 3 months of free Ultimate. It's like, if they weren't giving it away all the time, maybe they wouldn't have to raise the prices.
Yeah, it's really weird with that stuff because you know, I'm in the exact same boat as you. Whereas like Atomfall was like one of my big games that I played on Game Pass, and
Well,
I'm not sure if I might have overlooked it if it hadn't have been in there. So like as a
yeah,
discovery
absolutely.
engine,
Yeah.
it's been pretty cool. But it's also funny that you mentioned Final Fantasy Tactics earlier because I was also exactly in the same boat because I was like, is FF Tactics play anywhere? And I searched for it in the Xbox app, and it just didn't come up anywhere in the Xbox
Yeah.
app. So I found it via my play history and clicked on it to
Hmm.
find out it wasn't Xbox Play Anywhere, but it does run on
Yeah.
cloud. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so I get it on
It's
cloud.
it's just
So
so it's just
it
so
feels
the problem is
fragmented.
it's confused, and we're power users, right? We work in the industry, like we know what, like your average person who just like does not play games all that much and wants to, like, it's got to be so confusing for them.
Hmm.
The people in these Facebook groups that I'm in to see like what real people are saying about this stuff, they are so confused about how to play games. If you have to release a chart for like how to play, where you can play your game and how, like, yeah, it's too goddamn confusing.
Yeah, it is
You should just,
strange.
if you hear about a game, you should be able to boot up your console or whatever your gaming platform of choice, type it in, and it should be there and it should tell you. You
Yeah,
shouldn't, like, if I have to go to Google to figure out how to play a game, it's like I'm already doing too much.
yeah. I mean, I suppose like I'm hoping that because when they showed off their Xbox Ally roadmap, and there is stuff in there like the Xbox Ally verification program, which is similar to
Yeah,
the Steam Deck
Steam Deck
thing.
verified.
So
Yeah.
you would hope that eventually you'll open your Xbox Ally and there will be a curated list of games that run well on it, and hopefully New Blood's games are there at the top. I mean, like I had no
So
idea.
I don't it's me.
Yeah, but I genuinely had no idea like New Blood was sort of like at the forefront of the boomer shooter wave because since that I
How dare
played
you?
Project, yeah, I know I'm a terrible game journalist, but
Yeah.
like Project Warlock, I love that. Prodeus,
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah,
Um,
Project Warlock 2 is
yeah, it looks
coming out. That's an
fantastic.
early access. Proteus is
Um,
great. They finally made Doom 3.
yeah, yeah. I think, and oh, what's that other one? The Warhammer 40K one, Bolt Gun as well, fantastic.
Bolt Gun,
Yeah,
yeah,
Bolt
Bolt
Gun, I
Gun.
love that
Like
game. So
that's one of
I've
the
been playing your
when
genre and not realizing it.
yeah, when boomer shooters really arrive, like when when you get a 40K licensed game, then your subgenre is really hitting,
Oh yeah.
because because they give Games Workshop gives that fucking license to everybody. So like when it's like, damn, we finally got a 40K boomer shooter. That's how we know we've made the big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bolt Gun rules. I know those devs, Auroch Digital. They're cool dudes. That game rules. They're working on Bolt Gun too. Did you see they released a free Typing of the Dead style Bolt Gun game
I
to
did, yeah,
advertise Bolt
I
Gun
did.
2?
That was
I played
fantastic.
it. That was like I love me some good marketing. That was so cool. I tweeted about that a while back. I was like, hell yeah.
That was awesome. I
But
haven't
yeah,
tried it
there's
myself, but
and
yeah, it's cool as
yeah,
hell,
that's the
man.
thing. There's actually nowadays there's actually a lot of boomer shooters and retro shooters and stuff like this on console. People are always like, "Oh, these games are too fast for console." I'm like, "No, they're not. Not for
No.
people who play on console." I know like people don't realize these old school PC guys like me do not realize how fast Call of Duty is now. Call of Duty, like Black Ops, is pretty much as fast as Quake was back in the day. At this point, it's like one of the fastest shooters like there, and kids are playing on kids. Well, everybody's a kid to me because I'm in my 40s. On controller. Like
Yeah.
people are always like, "Oh, you can't play these games on controller." Yes, you can,
I
and
see
yes, they
like
do.
sometimes you see like kids again. I mean, I'm almost
Yeah,
42, but sometimes you
uh,
like I see kids playing like Call of Duty Mobile or PUBG Mobile with touch
uh,
almost as fast
yeah.
as you were on a
There's
controller or a
there's
mouse and
Destiny
keyboard.
Mobile now, and I see people playing this, and I'm like, holy shit, I could never. But like, yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's no longer an excuse. Like, oh no, people don't play old school fast shooters on console. It's too hard. It's like, no, it's not.
No.
Them. You have to understand that people who are used to controller playing with a mouse and keyboard shooters is as weird to
I
them
can't do
as
it.
us as us PC guys playing with shooters with a controller. It is just as weird the other way. It's
I
just what you're used
Yeah.
to.
I used to do it. I used to do it like I was pretty good at Unreal Tournament 99. If
Yeah.
I
Hey,
took my own horn, but
remember
I
Unreal
can't play it.
Tournament? Tim Sweeney doesn't.
I mean, like, it's so annoying, like playing Fortnite and this like open world map, and you've got the vehicles and stuff. And I'm sitting there thinking,
Uh,
this is literally on the tournament 2004, but
yeah.
with
Well,
licensed
that's why Epic.
characters.
I mean, Epic doesn't have to make games anymore because Fortnite is every game.
Yeah.
Fortnite is the game of all game. Like I don't even know what Fortnite is anymore. Like I've never really played Fortnite, but like I got friends who do, and I watch them. I'm like, they're like driving around and like they've set in vehicles and stuff, and I'm like, well, when did that happen? I thought Fortnite was like a battle royale. Like no, it's like every game now. It's got like
It's
Rock
music
Band is in
concerts and
Fortnite
yeah.
now. Yeah, I was like, huh? When did that happen? I'm old, man. I'm not trying to learn about Roblox. Like,
But this is where like I think a lot of discourse, especially for people sort of our age, like the millennials, Gen X kind of generation,
Mhm,
they look at the landscape of gaming and it's Roblox and it's Fortnite, stuff like that.
mhm.
And it's sort of like it's sort of a safe oasis that there are companies like yourself still willing to make games for us. Which is why
Yeah,
like
no, I
I'm
mean,
so desperate for this to succeed on Xbox, and like
yeah,
Xbox fans are
and it's
really
obviously there's
yeah.
it's still a big market. I'm just like, yeah, like where are the old school buy a game, play a game. This was nice. The game has an ending. Like we make games with endings. You know, it's like and it's like everything's got to be a live service or a roguelike that you can play forever now. Like if a game's longer than 20 hours, I'm out, man.
Yeah,
Like
I feel that.
what's that quote? I want shorter games made by devs who are paid more to work less, and I'm not kidding. You know, so like when I see a game come out and it's like the newest like Far Cry or something, and it's like there's like the biggest map ever, 80 hours just to beat the main campaign. I'm like, absolutely not. I do not have time. Like I'm reserving that time for like GTA 6. Like
Yeah.
that's like I get one of those a year. Like I platinum Elden Ring, fucking love that. But like how many Elden Rings do I have in me? Like I have what two my Elden Ring playthrough was like 200 hours, 100% of that game. That was on PS5. I platinum Ghost of Tsushima. That was like 60 hours. But like that those are like two games, two big open world games I've done in like the last 5 years. Like that's all I have time for. And
Yeah.
especially now, like my daughter's going to be born next year. I'm like, I ain't gonna have time
Congratulations.
to be. Thank you. I don't have time for no 80-hour games. I'm gonna have time like Mafia: The Old Country. That was great. In and out in 12 hours. I beat that in a weekend. I was like, perfect. $40. Love that. That is what the 40-year-old men want. A game that I can
Yeah.
go through in a weekend and like because otherwise I fall off so many games. Like I didn't finish Avowed. I'm pretty close. I will go back and finish Avowed because I did like Avowed a lot. I've got issues with it like most people, but like Avowed was pretty great. Um,
I need to get back to
I
that.
beat I beat Indiana Jones, but even then, Indiana Jones I think was maybe 30 hours, and that was a big open world game.
It's quite beefy, yeah.
Um, yeah, and that was, I mean, this Indiana Jones so good. But even then, that wasn't like 50, 60, 70 hours. But like, I only got so many of those in me. I'm watching more Dusk now. Um,
Yeah. It's
but
fantastic.
yeah, so
I
I
can't wait
think
to play it.
I think yeah, I think it's just like if you have to leverage that they're trying to leverage their existing base, but that existing base does not play PC games. So it's weird. They're not doing a good job of bringing PC players over to the Xbox ecosystem, and they're confusing Xbox players with what this new ecosystem is.
I think
Because the PC players are just like, well, I'm just going to keep playing my games on Steam, and the Xbox
yeah.
players are like, are my Xbox games on this new thing? And they're
Yeah.
like, not really. But at the same time, they don't want to tell them too much because then they can't trick them into buying it. Like you know full well if Xbox came out and was like, this is a PC handheld. I mean, they have said that like obviously they're like, yes, you can install anything on it, but they don't want to say that too loud because then they're just advertising, Steam and GOG and stuff like that. And we're like, you can just pirate games. Hey, congratulations, here's your new piracy handheld. Like like they don't want to just come out and be
Yeah.
like, hey, this is a completely unlocked handheld PC that's extremely powerful. They want to advertise it as an Xbox, so people who are coming from Xbox buy it and buy stuff on the Windows Store. Like I get that. You don't want to go out and advertise how open it is, how big of a platform it is, because then they're not going to buy anything. It's just gonna be another Steam handheld.
I
So
think
then
they,
who's getting the money? Asus and Valve. Once
yeah.
again, Microsoft is making no money.
I think like I suppose they did add the curation for the other storefronts, but I suppose that's really the core issue of this whole sort of thing for for yourselves and for Xbox is how do we get users into our Microsoft Store ecosystem to buy the
Yeah,
games that you would make, and then, the chicken and egg kind of scenario, right? How you can't
yeah,
get the
they have
devs
to
without the
build.
customers, you can't get the customers without the devs, and it's
Exactly. That's what
how
happened
do
with the Epic
you
Games. That's what happened with the Epic
yeah.
Games Store. Like they got devs because they offered crazy deals and crazy rev share, and they assumed, silly, that all these people who use the Epic launcher for Fortnite would buy games on the Epic Store. No, these kids are only launching the Epic launcher to play Fortnite. They are not clicking over to the Epic Store, just like people who use BattleNet are not buying games on the BattleNet launcher. Just like, remember when Discord tried to have a game store?
Oh, yeah. I forgot about
That
that.
failed. That of course everybody did, but they were
It's
like,
gone on
"Well, we've
Reddit.
got a million." Yeah, they were like every gamer in the world uses Discord. Discord. Surely, if we have a game store and give away free games, people will use it. No, no. You know how many times I clicked on that store tab? Once. I didn't even redeem the free games. It's like people don't use Discord to buy games. They use it to chat. People don't use, Fortnite. They don't use the Epic launcher to buy games. They use it to play Fortnite.
Yeah.
So you have to build a better store, a better experience. People, that's the thing. That's what Steam is. People use Steam to buy and play PC games. Plus, it's a whole ecosystem. So, I mean, Steam's got everything. It's got its own video editing software now. It's got
Yeah, I saw that.
it's got chat app. It's got forums for developers. One of the big things for Epic Game Store was like, we have no user reviews and no forums. I was like, cool. Like, you want me to buy something on a store that doesn't have user reviews so I can't see if the game's good or bad? Like, imagine if Amazon didn't have user reviews. Are you out of
Yeah.
your mind? Like, I need to, like, the user reviews make like, imagine if Google Maps didn't have reviews. How do I know if the restaurant's good? Like, if I go buy something on Amazon, how do I know if it's not a piece of shit? You look at the user reviews, like, I'm
I had
sorry
no
if your
idea they
reviews
didn't
are.
have user reviews.
Yeah, and it didn't have forums and everything or a shopping cart. I'm like, I got a game. The only game I ever got on the Epic Game Store because it was an exclusive was Rogue Galaxy 2, a game I really wanted. They paid the devs to put it on there. And like I remember it got a day one patch or whatever. I was like, cool, what's in the patch? There was nowhere to see what was in the patch
Oh,
because there's
yeah.
no forums. It just got an update. And I was like, cool, what's in the patch? And it was like, there's no forums. I went to the dev's website and there's nothing there. I was like, what is it? Just patch. What's in the patch? What have you done to the game? And it's coming from Steam or even consoles. Like when a game gets patched, like the patch notes are up there, the version notes are up there. On Steam, you do announcements and you can tie them to the build. Everybody knows what that looks like. This update, that update, the other thing. And it's like every other storefront is just so far behind and hoping that they can lure in developers and customers with free games and high percentages without building a better experience for customers. Like, it's like, you forgot about the customers, bro. Like, the reason people play games on Steam is because Steam is a great place to buy and play game. It's not
Yeah.
because they love, they've got some sort of, Valve doesn't have a console. They tried. That didn't work. Steam boxes did not work. The Steam Deck is. But now you've got the Steam Deck, which is, runs Linux, and it's underpowered. So I'm not I love what it's done, but I don't play my Steam Deck. I gave it away to, one of my friends because
Yeah.
when I saw the Ally come out, the original Ally, I was like, that's what I want. I remember I watched the when they announced it, and I watched the Linus Tech Tips video on it or whatever. I was like, yep, that's the one because I've got tons of Asus stuff. I've used their stuff for years, and I was like, listen, I know they could build good hardware. The software will probably be dog shit, and of course it is Armory Crate and all that stuff. But the hard, but like I know this thing is going to be powerful. I'm an old school PC guy. I want raw power, right? So when that came out, I was like, that's what I want. I don't want a Steam Deck. I want that. And I bought it on day one, and I was like, yep, this is what I want. But the software is not. Windows 11 is not great for a handheld. It is.
No.
In fact, I would say it's kind of dog shit, and that's been the biggest problem. It's not a hardware problem. The Ally is great. It's
Yeah.
the software, and so now that Xbox seems to be taking this seriously, like I've got the preview for the new software and everything with the new game bar and stuff like that. It's kind of they made it all round and console, but like I agree with it. It's better. It's still not like Steam big picture. It's not where you boot it up and you get this cool boot up window and like, hey, here's all your games and nice big art and stuff like that. Steam's done a great job of homogenizing all your art assets and stuff like that. So when you upload them to your store, it looks good on everything. Xbox doesn't have that yet, but it's getting better. And then the hope is now,
Gradually.
like when people, if you buy an Ally, you boot it up and you buy and play games there on the Windows Store. Like just they
Yeah.
want the same exterior, they want the same experience that the Steam Deck offers. People like me love to use it. We don't mind Windows. The first thing you see on my Ally on my desktop, because it just boots the desktop. I don't have it boot into Steam Big Picture or anything. Is Devolution X, which is the Android port of Diablo 1, because it's the best version of that game and it
Oh,
allows
really?
for controller support. So like I've got like a modded version of Diablo 1 that I can play and I can dock it and play it with a controller. Because
Huh.
Diablo 1 never had controller support. There was a PlayStation version on like PS1. But like that's the kind of stuff that I like to do, right?
Yeah.
I like to play old modded games, and tinker. I like to tinker, as they say, even though that's barely tinkering to me. Oh no, I had to download something from GitHub and put it on my desktop. It's not horror, you know.
That scares me.
Well,
I'm a console user.
yeah, but exactly. But for your average user, they just want to boot up a thing and have it. They want their Xbox dashboard.
Yeah.
Because the Xbox dashboard is lovely. It's pretty. I love booting that up. Like, especially Blood West has this huge key art now on Xbox. Like, it looks great. Like I want that on handheld. So like if they can bring the same experience as the Xbox console software to a handheld, and people will buy and play games there. It has to feel easy, intuitive, and comfortable. Like that's it. It's not rocket science.
I feel you.
They have to build an experience that is as, comfortable to use as the Steam Deck. And it seems like they're trying now. My only hope is that they stick with it and they don't
Stick
give
with
up
it.
on it, like I said, in a year.
Yeah. I mean, it's I did take a quick gander over on the Xbox app, and you mentioned things like having the patch notes there. Minecraft does have a sort of news and updates section, but no other games do.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if
Yeah.
like is that something they're testing now to roll out and stuff
Uh,
like that? But
That's the thing. They've been rolling out a lot of stuff because we get the emails as developers, and it's like it all looks really good.
that's cool.
Like I'm hopeful. Like it's like I'm like, yes, finally, like Windows gaming. Because like I was a big Windows gaming guy in like 2000.
Yeah.
I was playing SimCity and Flight Simulator and all that kind of stuff. Back when Windows gaming was bumping before the 360 came and they were like, oh, we don't care about PC gaming anymore. And Valve was like, okay, we will.
Yeah.
Um, so it's cool to see the Windows, but at the same time, that like Satya and the heads at Microsoft really don't care about Xbox.
Yeah.
Like they care
It's
about
painfully
AI
obvious.
and servers and cloud and stuff. Like I know for a fact that like Phil and them and have had to fight really hard to get Microsoft to give a shit about Xbox.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh yeah.
like it has been an uphill battle for them. And I'm just, and that's the thing. I'm worried that like if they don't see like great results like within the next few quarters, that the top brass at Microsoft who like Phil and them report to are they're just gonna be like, nope, we're not fuck it, shutting it down, canning it, we're going in a different direction. Clearly this isn't working. We didn't get returns fast enough. We're
Yeah.
not seeing the user acquisition fast enough. Like this isn't important to us. We're going to put this money towards more AI bullshit. And that's a real worry. With these corporations these days. Like
Totally
it's
feel
like
you, man.
Meta was so in on VR for like 5 minutes, like with the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, and it was going really with the Quest 3 rules. That thing is great. Um, and it's got killer apps. People are like, oh, VR doesn't have killer apps. It actually has like 20 awesome games. It's just nobody wants to play VR. But like now Zuckerberg is like, I'm bored. Like the problem is these billionaires, they find a new toy to play with. The
Oh yeah.
Zuckerbergs and the Tim Sweeneys and the whoever and the heads of Satyas and them. They're like, well, I
But
don't know. I got bored of this. I want to do something else now.
yeah.
Like AI. That's what they care about now. They don't care about VR. Oh, that's old news. We care about AI now. We want to
Even
generate
Satya.
video games with AI.
Oh god. Even Satya was like for 5 minutes, metaverse this, metaverse that
Oh yeah.
for like a few months.
Yeah, for like 10 whole seconds, they were like,
Oh
"Oh, this is
man,
a hot new thing." They were
yeah,
into crypto and fucking, JPEGs of, monkeys or whatever the fuck was a thing for 5 minutes.
NFT.
And
Oh
then they get
man,
bored. So like
yeah,
my worry is that it's gonna be the same thing with this new Xbox stuff. Like it's like this is an Xbox, Xbox Play Anywhere, this is our new strategy. And then 6 months later, if it's not working, they're gonna be like, actually, we're sorry,
yeah,
Satya got bored and like this. And I know for a fact, like over at Epic, like every 6 months, Tim Sweeney shows up. He's like, "Why isn't the store working? Why aren't people buying, stuff on Epic Game Store? I don't understand. We give away these free games." And they're like, "Well, Tim, we fire every 6 months. We fire the people working on the Epic Game Store, and we have to start over again." He's like, "What?" they like
uh,
they're out of touch,
nah,
it's like
dude,
whatever. Listen, I don't know what it's like or want to know what it's like to be a billionaire running a 30-year-old company that makes a gajillion dollars. But like there's the problem is there's just always so much bureaucracy involved. And the reason Steam has always worked is because people know, everybody talks about Game, but like Game doesn't really do anything at Valve anymore. But Valve is a flat corporation where stuff can just get done if enough people want to do it.
yeah,
There's no like hierarchy. So like Steam has a team of people that work on it. And like, the reason all these features come out for Steam all the time is because they just get together and think like, hey, wouldn't it be cool to do this? Or people have been asking about this and then they just do it. Like people were like, oh man, wouldn't it be cool if we had really great screenshot and video editing and you could just clip from your games and edit and stuff. And because they saw the people were using all these different softwares to edit all their stuff. And Valve was like, well, we could just build video editing into Steam. And then they did that, you know? Um, there's so many things that Valve keeps doing that they can because they don't have to get approval from 7 layers of management
yeah. I've
to,
seen it in my own
get that
company
done.
because we're
Yeah.
publicly traded, and I've seen it in my own company. I'll say that this would help, and it's just like, can you prove that it'll help with the spreadsheet?
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
Yeah.
isn't that your job?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
exactly. It's just there's just and I get it, right? It's like you worry at Microsoft is a giant corporation, one of the biggest in the world. So the fact that like it just sucks that like we have to get these crumbs, as the people who play games on Xbox are
yeah.
like and like please may I have a crumb of good experience that the others have. Please Papa Phil, and I know him and who's in charge of Xbox now? I'm sorry, I forget her name.
So Phil's in charge, and
Sarah Bond.
Sarah Bond's
Yeah,
president.
Sarah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know him and Sarah and the others like have to, fight for crumbs
they
from the
really
top
do. Yeah.
brass. And it's like people give them so much shit. And like as someone who's worked a company, I sympathize with Phil and Sarah and them because it's like they would love to just have all the time and budget that they have to make Xbox like because Phil be gaming. Phil games his ass off. You could see
He
this
does.
man's profile. Like the Phil Spencer plays a fuck ton of video games, and he wants a better experience. There are people at Xbox that like want to have an experience this is good, and they know they can build it, but they work at Microsoft, which is a giant corporation, and
Yeah.
they can't get it done. So it's just listen. So I'm happy we're getting some crumbs finally. I hope the crumbs turn into a meal, if that makes any sense. And
Totally
I'm
does.
and we're and we at New Blood are happy to be contributing some side dishes. Let's say that. My
Well,
food analogies.
no, well, I'm hungry now, but dude, you've thank you so much for coming on. First of all, you've kind of like I said at the start, I was unfamiliar with New Blood in my ignorance, but
Mhm.
I think you probably turned a lot of people into fans just with your presentation here. The games look fantastic. I am already enjoying Blood West a ton.
Yeah.
As we wrap up here, do you want to let the fine folks of Xbox Two and Windows Central Universe know where they can find New Blood online and yourself if you fancy that? And Anything else?
Yeah,
You've
well,
got anything with
I
closing
usually
thoughts?
give the links that take everyone to Steam and stuff. So we're just at New Blood everywhere. Newblood.game is the website. We hate.money, but that'll take you to the things. Waste.money, that'll take you to our store. But I mean, yeah, if you just our stuff that's coming to Xbox. Just honestly, just go subscribe to us on like YouTube and stuff. You'll get all the information. That's probably the easiest for people. We're just New Blood Interactive. But
Awesome.
yeah, the stuff, Blood West is coming out next week on Xbox. Faith, the Unholy Trinity, and Dusk are coming out on Xbox in the next 2, 3 weeks after that. We're still messing around with patches and certification and achievements. I could spend a whole other hour talking about how much I fucking hate achievements, but that's another podcast for
Yeah,
another day.
we'll do that another
Love him
time
as a
because I've heard
player,
similar.
hate him as a developer. Again, and that's another thing we have to blame Xbox for, but whatever. Another conversation for another day. But yeah, if you want, just New Blood Interactive, Blood West, Faith, Dusk, Medieval, Ultra Kill, obviously the mighty Ultra Kill, Fallen Aces, Gloomwood, Tenebrae Somnia coming out next year. With the live action cutscenes, we're very busy and we're bringing our stuff to Xbox, and hopefully Xbox will still be around next year when we want to bring more games to Xbox.
We hope, we pray. But thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. I've learned a lot myself, and
Yeah,
yeah,
man, good to finally talk to you.
yeah, man. If you've enjoyed the show, please, drop a like and all that good stuff, and also to be sure to check out New Blood Interactive. Drop all the links in the description, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everybody.